Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas's Wednesday evening service. My name is Reverend Laura Hallett, and it is my pleasure to be the spiritual leader of this amazing community located here in Southern Nevada. If you happen to be joining us from somewhere else in the world tonight, we are so delighted to have you here. You are the reason that we do what we do here at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, and we are blessed to have you as part of our community. So far this month, we've played with 3 different practices: our meditation, our prayer, and our affirmations. Last week, we took a look at the spiritual quality of joy and how we could be more purposeful about bringing joy into our lives in a greater way. This week, we're just going to spend some time talking about how we can bring more play into our lives, how we can actually experience more of that childlike wonder in our daily lives. Play is the way that children learn about life. But play is not confined to just those few early years of our lives. Our lives are meant to be filled with joy and the things that make us happy. And this includes all of the aspects of our spiritual journey. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote in The Power of an Idea, "We must learn to recapture that childlike enthusiasm we used to have when at play, and to develop it. There is something so spontaneous and natural and outgoing about it that it diffuses an exhilarating power which lifts everything it touches into greater joy." I just love that. It diffuses an exhilarating power which lifts everything it touches into greater joy. Who wouldn't want more joy in their life? Who wouldn't want to have that exhilarating feeling of joy in our lives? Well, it's available to us if we are conscious about it and intentional about bringing it into our lives. The wonderful Mr. Rogers said that play is the work of childhood. And children take this work very seriously, and they are exceptionally good at it. And they can teach us a thing or two about why play is so important, especially in our lives now, especially when we are going through some of the serious situations that our world has been experiencing over the last couple of years. Play offers us a reprieve from the chaos, from the crisis, from the challenges in our life. And it allows us to connect with a key part of ourselves that often gets lost in the responsibilities of adulthood, especially during times of crisis. So why is it that we don't play much anymore? Why do we take this thing of being an adult so seriously in our lives? We are very good at adulting. Well, as we get older, our egos also grow along with us. And our egos is that part of ourself that is the protective part. It's the part that fears things. It's that part that is constantly chattering. The Buddhists call this the monkey mind. Different spiritual authors that you will read call it different things. I happen to be reading Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul, and he calls it the inner roommate. And as this ego grows, we become more self-conscious. And play begins to feel silly, unproductive, and time-consuming. But this is exactly why we should make more time for it. There are actually a number of physical benefits available to us through play for adults all the time. Including in those are a sense of stress management and a way of coping with all of the stress crises that we feel in a day. And then we have an overall improvement in our well-being. And both of those are benefits that we can certainly use more of right now in our lives. Managing our stress and feeling better overall are 2 key things that we really could use a lot more of. Now, when I'm talking about play, I am not talking about it in some kind of toxic positivity way or using some kind of spiritual bypass. This is not an attempt to trivialize our adult lives or to overlook the real challenges we face. But it is a way that we can have a better experience in our lives when we are dealing with difficult times. If you just think back over the last couple of years of the pandemic, I remember at the beginning of it, there were all of these wonderful creative ways that people were expressing themselves through fun, through joy, through creating something new, through taking something old and making something new out of it. One of my favorite things were those photographs that people would stage of someone. They take somebody in their house or in their lives or themselves, and they would stage them to look like these masterpieces, like these classic works of art. I have several of them here, several of the pictures I pulled off the internet of my favorite ones. And so we have here someone who is dressed up like Mona Lisa. Does a striking job of it, I think. Or we have the portrait of the creation from the Sistine Chapel with Adam and God and their fingertips touching. What fun that must have been to do that, to put that together. Here's another one taken from our wonderful first responders and hospital workers. This is the Last Supper. What a great opportunity for them to come together in this way and have a little bit of fun in their highly stressful lives. And then we have this one, which I just happen to love. I couldn't find the title of it, but it's a portrait of a young woman. And of course, you remember, all remember how important toilet paper became in our lives. And so what a fun way that was to recreate these portraits, masterpieces of classical portraits, and do them in a fun way. I mean, I can't imagine the fun that they must have had playing with that. Thinking of all the creative ways that they could find things to represent the things that were in the portraits, like, a toilet paper rough. I think as adults, many of us are just afraid to let ourselves play because we think we're going to look too silly, or we think someone's going to judge us. But honestly, it's not the other people in our lives whose judgment holds us back. It's our own inner critic. Again, it's that voice inside of us that is consistently chattering. That obnoxious voice in our head that gives us directions. It's always giving us its opinion. It's always limiting what we can do out of its own fear. I love what Michael Singer calls, when he calls it the inner roommate. He says, this is a roommate you just can't evict. We have an opportunity in our lives to actually make fun with our inner critic. Our inner critic is a survival mechanism that buffers us from failure, buffers us from some of the things that we experience in our lives, because failing feels bad. And so our inner critic discourages us from doing the things that make us feel silly or uncomfortable or risky. Now, I'm not negating this inner voice on a whole basis, because there are times when this inner voice is critical to us. It is that voice that will also tell us when we need to be afraid of something that's real, or when we need to actually look at something before we do it. It can be a very powerful force in our lives, but oftentimes we let it take over and limit us in our behavior. And then we have the sense that we should fix this inner critic, and we're not able to fix it because it's still chattering, it's still constantly going. One of the books I'm reading right now is called Fierce Self-Compassion by Kristin Neff. And in this book, she says, don't beat yourself up for beating yourself up. We need to learn to make friends with our inner critic. Don't beat ourselves up for wanting to fix this thing. Again, lighten it up a little bit. It's part of us. It's there. It is a survival mechanism. It serves a valid purpose. But too often we let it take charge of our lives, and we live from that inner voice instead of from our inner knowing. And that can make a big difference in our lives. Fun and play should never end with childhood. We often we often think we're an adult now, and the time for playing and having fun is over, right? No. Adults can and should play and have fun, and we should do it on a consistent basis. In fact, there are studies that show there are many benefits for playing for adults, which include increased creativity, increased productivity, and of course, those feelings of well-being and stress management that come along with it. Adults need to play. So how can we find more ways of bringing play into our lives on a more consistent basis? I think one of the things that we have to do is we have to begin to be intentional about it. We have to set the intention of playing more in our lives. Start by setting a goal to have more fun. Often we think of goal setting as something we do with serious things like losing weight or quitting smoking or increasing our income or starting a business or some big project. However, the goal of having more fun is just as important as those adult-sounding goals. So figure out what fun means for you. Fun means something different for everyone. There is no way in the world I am ever going to think that running a marathon is fun. It's just never going to happen for me. So a lot of times, we as adults, we can't remember what the fun things were that we did when we were children. And so we need to spend some time cultivating that. We may have outgrown those things that we like to do in the past, and we haven't gotten around to identifying new things. So we need to be able to generate the new things in our lives. For instance, as I said, I am never going to be running, but I love to be in the pool, playing around in a pool. That brings me great joy. That's something I can do. I love my crafts and my projects and my things like that. I love to color. These are things that bring me joy, and these are things that I really like to do. So how do you do that? How do you begin to find that? Well, first, sit down and make a list of the things that you enjoyed doing when you were a kid. Think about those things that you wanted to spend your time doing, the things that you were in such a hurry to do that you couldn't wait to get outside to do them, the things that you wanted to do that you would give up watching your favorite TV show to go do it. And then go over that list and highlight the things that you still think are fun, because there may be some things on there that you're not really sure you want to do that. Making mud pies may not be something that appeals to you as much as it did when you were 4. Other things you can do is you can Google. Google is that amazing application we have that will let us find just about any information we want. Google fun ideas for adults. See what comes up. Or go back to that bucket list ideas that we talked about last week. That list that I had you make of the things that you wanted to do in your life that you had not completed yet. Look for the ideas on fun things that you may want to try. Highlight some of those things. Once you have your list, then find the things that actually sound like something you want to start right now, something that you're going to find most interesting right now. Then set yourself a time to have fun. Just like you set aside time for exercise each day, set aside time to have fun. Now, if you may not be able to work it into your life on an everyday basis, then set aside a day a week in which you're going to have a minimum of a couple hours of fun, that you're going to go make sure that you do something fun on that day. Or you may take your 2-week vacation throughout the year and decide that you're going to devote it entirely to having fun, just something silly and fun and frivolous that you wanted to do. Put fun into your schedule. Write it into your schedule. Keep it fresh before you. Like I said last week, keep fresh before me my moments of high resolve. If you don't schedule something, it's not likely to happen. So if you want to play more and have more fun, you need to put it down in your schedule. Putting it down in there keeps it fresh before you. Even if you can't get to it that day, you've seen it and it's there in your mind. And as long as it's there in your mind, it's using a little bit of energy. And so let that energy build until you have the momentum to do what it is you want to do that's fun. Scheduling fun is as important for you as scheduling anything else you do in your life. And scheduling it will make you less likely to procrastinate. One of the other things you can do is you can keep fun things around. Create a box full of fun things. Keep a stash of fun things. Keep things around your desk that are fun for you. Keep things that you might have that you want to do at certain times but you can't get to it. For instance, when we were in the middle of the pandemic, I went out and bought the 3D puzzles for Harry Potter. I'm a crazy Harry Potter fan. And so I bought a 3D Hogwarts castle and built that. And then, of course, I had to go get the Hogwarts Express train and set the track up around my 3D castle, which was really fun. So find jigsaw puzzles. They're great fun things for you to have. I know lots of people who keep them out on like a dining room table that they don't use very often, and they just go over and work on their puzzles a little bit. As I said earlier, I love coloring, so I keep coloring books around. And I keep nice special tools to use to color with it. I happen to like really good colored pencils, and that's what I use. For my niece, she loves smelly markers, and so we buy her smelly markers that she loves to color with. Another thing that's fun to have around, great to pull out at any time, is Play-Doh. Play-Doh is such a great tool for just getting out of the seriousness of life. Another one, if you're like me, I also like building things. I have Legos, and so I buy Harry Potter Legos, but I do have Legos, so keep those things around. These are things that you can use when there's times when you just really need to pamper yourself a little bit, when you just need to really take a break away from the seriousness of your life. Those nights that you feel like you might want to pull your covers over your head and never come back out again. Have these things available. Have these things readily available so that you can actually tap into them when that opportunity comes. So create a play box for yourself. Take a moment and combine fun with other activities. For instance, exercise. There are so many ways to have fun exercising. You could look around for an exercise class that you might enjoy. Maybe you really love dancing, so you're going to try something like Zumba. You might want to cycle. Maybe you're a cyclist and you get one of those videos where you look like you're cycling through the mountains or across through the woods, or in a marathon with some other people where you're riding in a race. Find something that really appeals to you. Join a team. Join a team sport. If you love playing soccer or baseball as a kid, find a team for adults and join that. Find different ways that you can do this. Sometimes there's all kinds of wonderful apps out there that will help you get motivated and help you find more fun in it. A friend of mine who's a jogger told me that she actually has an app that makes her appear as if she's being chased by zombies. Hey, whatever. Staying fit and surviving a zombie apocalypse at the same time, what more fun can you have? One of my favorite things to do when I want to have more fun is I go visit my niece and her children. I call them my greats, my great nephew and my great niece. And I go have fun by hanging out with kids. Little kids are amazing. The last time I was over, we played bubbles. I got to blow the bubbles. They got to pop them. It was a blast. We were tickled to death and laughing the whole time. It was so fun. So find a way to hang out with a little kid. If you're still serious about some of the work that you're doing, there are ways that you can bring more fun into your work. I know there are a lot of offices that have all kinds of interesting things in their break rooms and things like that. I've seen people having sword fights with foam swords or using those Nerf guns to shoot each other across the room. I always have a slinky on my desk. I love slinkies and I think they're fun to play with. If you can't have a toy around, then, decorate your room to make it fun. Maybe you can put a basketball hoop on the back of your door or on the trash can just to make it a little more interesting for you. Another thing you can do is, like that play box that I talked about earlier, have some stuff in a drawer in your desk. I keep a coloring book in my desk drawer all the time. Times that I can just take it out, and it is a beautiful little break. It's 5-10 minutes of sitting there coloring, and it just takes me out of the stress that I'm in at that moment. So find some ways to have fun at work. Find a fun friend to be with. Find someone that you want to hang out with who is actually serious about having fun in their lives. You'll be able to learn to relax a little bit more. You'll be more spontaneous. You'll be more willing to play if you are hanging out with someone who's already doing these things. And for those of you that are in a committed relationship, instead of just going out on a date with your partner, go out on a play date. You don't have to go to a dinner and movie. Instead, you could go to a theme park or go on a scavenger hunt or go to the park and swing on the swings. Have fun with each person in your life. Actually, be more conscious and more intentional about bringing fun into your life on a daily basis. As an adult, we have every right to enjoy ourselves. We have the opportunity at every moment to actually build in a little bit more play. I love the famous quote from George Bernard Shaw. He said, "We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing." So this is an opportunity for you to think about more ways that you can play in your life, more ways that you can bring fun into your life, more ways that you can find that lighter side of the work that we're doing on a daily basis in our world. It will benefit you in untold ways. It will benefit the world in untold ways. This is a very serious thing that we have to do, this playing fun. So enjoy it. All right. So we have Justin Vogel here tonight with us with a beautiful song. And then we'll close out our service here. So have a wonderful week, everyone. We look forward to seeing you again next week as we begin to explore a new topic in our Living Everyday Wonder. Have a great week, everyone.
Here at Center for Spiritual Living Greater Las Vegas, we are a mission and vision-driven community. We offer transformative educational opportunities, deep and meaningful moments of connection, uplifting Wednesday and Sunday services. We greatly appreciate your contributions that support the amazing work we're doing here in Southern Nevada. We have several easy ways you can contribute. We have text to give. Simply text the amount of your donation to our text to give number and you'll be prompted to enter your information. There's a link to our online donation page posted below this video where you can contribute by debit or credit card. And of course, you're always welcome to send a check to our office if that works better for you. All of your contributions go to support the great work that we're doing here in Greater Las Vegas community.
When you're done with the pain, you can't take it anymore. Look up, look higher, look deeper. When you know it's the end and pain's your only friend, look up, look higher, look deeper. One more try, one more day, one more move to a better day. Close your eyes one more time. Say the words and you will fly. When frustration sets in and you cannot see the end, look up, look higher, look deeper. When you wanna run and shout, but you know you can't reach out, look up, look higher, look deeper. One more try, one more day, one more move to a better day. Close your eyes one more time. Say the words and you will fly. You'll fly. I'm no longer in pain. I'm whole again. I'm up, I'm higher, I'm deeper. No more pain. I'm whole once again. I'm up, I'm higher, I'm deeper. No more pain. I'm whole once again. I'm up, I'm higher, I'm deeper. I am love, I am peace. I'm up, I'm higher, I'm deeper. I'm up, I'm higher, I'm deeper. I'm up, I'm higher.
The monthly publication, Science of Mind magazine, is a treasure to be read and contemplated. Along with in-depth articles, there is a day-to-day spiritual support to be gleaned from its daily guides. Licensed practitioner Lynn Frankenberger hosts Adventures in Faith on Zoom, and you're invited to join in. This is a weekly group discussion that focuses on those daily guides and how to apply them. Check Facebook and our weekly newsletter for more details.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
CSL Greater Las Vegas brings you much of your favorite spiritual music every Friday at 7 p.m. with Spiritual Soundscapes. Enjoy performances from CSLGLV vocalists along with special guest singers. It's music for your soul. Subscribe to the CSLGLV YouTube channel to get a convenient link sent to you for each musical performance. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.